Hello everyone. I wanted to make another SIC video covering printing out some uh, numerical values instead of strings. And so, again, like I've said before, I'm not an expert in this. All of my experience comes from an assembly class that I took. And so, if some of this stuff doesn't work for you, I apologize. I'm not an expert in any of this. And if you are more knowledgeable in all of this, please feel free to say something in comments or other things. I'm just trying to provide some videos that may help some people because I found it very hard finding information on, just doing some basic SIG assembly things. And so I just wanted to provide a video covering printing out some values. Um, so what we have here is our basic starting program. Um, we have a starting address of 0, a word for 0 with a value of 0. That's for this ending part to tell the program that we're, trying to end. Then I have an ASCII word value of 48, and I'll get into why this is important. Um, then we have our imaginary value. This can be whatever, um, a word value. And then for this example, I just used 6. And then our device word value of 42. This is just something that I'm used to doing because in the SIC virtual machine that I use to test everything and that I've done all my previous SIC related projects on, we have to specify what device we're writing out to. So I always just did device, word, and then 42. So getting into this, we're going to start at our first line. And so what we need to do first is load our value into the accumulator, or our A. So how we're going to do that is just simply load A. So, this loads, we're going to do value. This loads our value into A, the accumulator. And then from there, we are able to actually do some things with it. So if we went directly to writing to the device, at least in the emulator that I used for testing and, like I said, my previous projects, if we just try to directly write to the device using our value, which is 6 in this case, from the accumulator, if we try just directly printing that or writing to the device, it's not actually going to write out 6. It's going to write out something completely different and usually incorrect. And that's because it tries to print out the ASCII value instead of printing out the numerical value. And so, again, this may be different for each system. Um, you know, Everything that I'm doing completely refers to the emulator that's been provided to me. I don't know if this is something that happens among all other SIC kind of related things. But in the example I'm doing, writing to the device directly um, with just a value isn't going to print out the right thing. So instead of writing to the device immediately, what we first have to do is add our ASCII value. Um, so our ASCII value is 48. And the reason it's 48 is because 48 is the ASCII value for 0. And so if your value is 0, you add 48 to it and then go to print it, it's going to print out 0. If you have 5, you add 48 to it and then it's going to print out the ASCII value for 5. But an issue arises with this where we can only print out one value at a time, and I'll get into that. But so what we can do after adding our ASCII value is then we can write to the device and finish the program. And so running this setup should then print out our value of 6, and obviously we can change this, 5, 2, 8, 9. This setup should work as long as the value is a single digit. The issue arises whenever we go to anything above that. So something like 10, we can't use this setup because, it's going to take in the value, it's going to add the ASCII, and then, if you take 10, add 48 to it, then we're going past the ASCII value of the numbers 0 through 9. And so if you want to actually print out, anything above a single digit, you're going to have to do some modulus operations. For example, if you wanted to print out 10 or, say 10 through 99, what you're first going to have to do is, I'll write it down here. So to print out, single digits, you're going to have to do basically 10 mod 10, right? And then 10 mod 10 is going to give you 1, right? Actually, no, it's not going to give you 1. Right, hold on, sorry. I was doing this wrong. So you need to do the process of doing like the number divided by, hold on, sorry, I'm messing this up. It's a weird process. You have to, all right, yeah, okay, sorry. So you need to, if it's like 10 through 99, for a better example, I'm going to change this value to, let's say, 55. So you need to take your value, and again, this, this is for 10 through 99. You need to take your value, and this is trying to just do it in terms of SIC. So you need to take your value, divide it by 10, and then, this will get us 5 because we are doing integer division, so we're not going to get a remainder out of this. So this gets us 5, right? And then using this, we need to add our ASCII value of 48, and then we can print this value, right? Then we can print that value, but then you still need to get the remainder. And so this process is a little tricky in SIC. You kind of have to really think about it, but I'll provide an example. So what we need to do, if I remember correctly, is we need to take our original value, divide it by 10, which gets us our 5, because we're doing integer division. And then what we need to do is actually times it by 10 again, which gets us 50. And then from here, we want to basically do 55 minus 50, which equals 5, which gets us our remainder. And so this is the modulus process in SIC. If we wanted to actually do this process, we could do something along the lines of, let's get a 10 value in here of word, and then we'll just do a temp word value of nothing because we're going to be storing something. And so let's do this. So this process, we can load in our value, and then we want to divide by 10, obviously, to get our 5, right? So we get our 5, and then what we can do is add our ASCII value if we want. So we can add our ASCII right to the device, and then subtract our ASCII value again. So what this is doing is, we load in our value of 55, divided by 10 to get 5, add the ASCII value so that we are able to properly write it to the device, and then we're just going to subtract the ASCII value so that it's 5 again, and so we can work with it. And so then what we want to do is multiply it by 10 again. So now our 5 in the accumulator turns into 50, and we just want to store this value into temp for right now so that we can work with it later or in a few seconds. So we store what's in the accumulator at this current moment, which is 50. After going through all of this, we store it into our temp variable. And then what we want to do is load in to the accumulator our value again. So now in our accumulator, or A, we have a value of 55 because that is what our original value is. So we load 55 into the accumulator. Then we want to subtract temp, which is, remember, it's 50 now. And that'll get us our value of 5, which is our remainder. And so this is the process for doing modulus in SIC. And so from here, now we can just add our ASCII value like before and write to the device. And so this process should take our 55 and print out both 5s in order. And this process should work for values between 10 and 99. The reason I say that is because once you go above 99, once you get into 100 to 999, then you have to do an additional modulus process. So instead of, doing something like this, you'd have to take, like, say, 654, and then you'd have to divide it by 100, which gets you 6, because, again, we're doing integer division. And then you're going to have to multiply this by 100, which equals 600. Then take this. And you can print out this 6 value once you get it, if you want to. But then once we have the 600, we have to take the original value and subtract the 600 to get 54. And then you have to take this 54 and, go through the process of, divide it by 10 gets you 5, multiply it by 10 to get 50, and then, take this, you take the 54, subtract 50, and get 4. So that would be the process of doing it. If you had, anything from 100 to 999, and then, the process just continues as you get higher in numbers. But yeah, hopefully this video helps with printing out some numbers. Um, Again, like I said, I don't know if you have to go through this adding ASCII process on every kind of SIC related programming thing. This is just something that I know I personally had to do when working with the emulator that was provided for me. So this is just the way I know of doing it. So again, I'm very sorry if this is something that doesn't work for everyone. But hopefully this helps somebody out there with outputting values, numerical values in ASCII. So thank you very much, and hopefully this helps.